If you don't believe in God or a universal spirit, you're more likely to be callous and manipulative, according to a controversial new study. Atheists exhibit more traits commonly seen among psychopaths than people who consider themselves to be religious. However, believers aren't spared criticism. This study also found that religious people are less intelligent than their non-believing counterparts. Religious people were found to be more caring towards their fellow humans, and the researchers believe their findings may help explain why women, who tend to be more empathetic, are also likely to be more religious. Researchers at Cape Western Reserve University in Ohio and Babson College in Massachusetts argue that the conflict between science and religion may have its origins in the structure of our brains. Brain scans and experiments demonstrate the brain has two networks that are activated when we think, one analytical and critical, the other social and emotional. To believe in a supernatural God or universal spirit, people appear to suppress the brain network used for analytical thinking and engage the empathetic network, the scientists said. In a series of 8 experiments, each involving between 159 and 527 adults, the researchers examined the relationship between a belief in God or a spirit, with measures of analytic thinking and moral concern. In all 8, they consistently found the more religious the person, the more moral concern they showed. They discovered that both spiritual belief and empathetic concern were positively associated with frequency of prayer, meditations and other spiritual or religious practices. The main finding offers a new explanation for past research showing women tend to hold more religious or spiritual worldviews than men, so this gap may arise because women tend to be more empathetic than men. In contrast, the researchers said there are some similarities between atheists and psychopaths in that they both lack empathy for others. The typical psychopath demonstrates an absence of emotional response to pain and suffering in others, the author said, who also found this to be the case among people in a series of personality tests. The research is based on the hypothesis that the human brain has two opposing domains in constant tension. In earlier research, Dr. Tony Jack, Associate Professor of Philosophy at Cape Western, used functional magnetic resonance imaging to show the brain has an analytical network of neurons that enables us to think critically and a social network that enables us to empathize. When presented with a physics problem or ethical dilemma, a healthy brain fires up the appropriate network while suppressing the other. Because of the tension between networks, pushing aside a naturalistic worldview enables you to delve deeper into the social or emotional side, he explained. And that may be the key to why beliefs in the supernatural exist throughout the history of cultures. It appeals to an essentially non-material way of understanding the world and our place in it. He continued, when there's a question of faith, from the analytic point of view, it may seem absurd. But, from what we understand about the brain, the leap of faith to belief in the supernatural amounts to pushing aside the critical or analytical way of thinking to help us achieve greater social and emotional insight. His colleague Professor Richard Boyd added, a stream of research in cognitive psychology has shown that people who have faith, who are religious or spiritual, are not as smart as others. They actually might claim they are less intelligent. Our studies confirm that statistical relationship, but at the same time showed that people with faith are more pro-social and empathic. The new study is published in the online journal PLOS One. The researchers said that while having empathy does not necessarily mean a person has anti-scientific beliefs, it may compromise an individual's ability to cultivate social and moral insight. However, they point out research that shows between 1901 and 2000, 90% of Nobel Prize winners in science were religious, while the rest were atheists, agnostics or freethinkers.